Do you want to know how Jokic got those scars? Pour some sugar on the Atlanta Hawks. And the Charlotte Hornets, they have the Splash Triplets. This is Kent, and this is Fanatically Speaking. Let's go. All right, what's up, everybody? First topic on the NBA episode here. Got a lot to get into, a lot of fun stuff, but at the same time, break down a little bit of basketball. So the NBA right now, it's going through this phase, right? We talked about a lot of stuff going on that didn't particularly have to do with basketball and other things of like, are people watching this, that, and the other. So last week, the big thing that happened was Nikola Jokic got tested by the Oklahoma City Thunder in a game of the Western Conference, two top teams in the West, the Thunder, the Nuggets. Talked about how, they're contenders, Nuggets, former champion, Thunder, the defending champions. And in that Wild West, you could see them being in the final four, two teams to go to the NBA Finals or get to the NBA Finals. Now, the Nuggets have been a little more inconsistent for me, but, So the big play was, going down court, and Jokic is running behind Lou Dort, and Lou Dort kind of gets in his way, but just doesn't get in his way. He sticks his leg out, which that ended up, of course, tripping Jokic. Could have injured him, and I think that's what Jokic is thinking, like, hey, man, like, that ain't basketball. So, of course, he immediately, enraged, goes after Dort. Dort wanted nothing to do with it, acted like he had done nothing. So a little scuffle, a little pushing. Jalen Williams comes in, Jalen with an I on the Thunder. He comes in to kind of, I don't know, stick up for Dort, I guess. I mean, Dort's a pretty solid dude, so I don't even really know why he's backing down. But so that then enraged Jokic, and you could see it in his face. I mean, I don't know, I've never seen him that way, right? And we'll get into what happened to him before, but never seen him like that. He was just not like, Moussa Diabate with the piston fight when he was just, ballistic, like out insanity, just a light switch, a flip just went off. But Jokic was just like, yeah, y'all want to do this? Let's do this. He was ready to rumble with Lou Dort. Dort was not. Then Jalen Williams comes over, and again, he's daring Jalen Williams to do something. The rage in his face, it was almost crazy, where he was just like, yeah, do it. Like, try something. I want you to. As the saying goes, yeah, Jokic wanted the smoke. The Joker wanted the smoke. And, Dort out here, like I said, tripping like Grayson Allen, and that's not a good thing, right? Grayson Allen has a bad reputation for that, even though he's a dookie. But Lou Dort, I've really never seen the Thunder last year or this year really do anything. So, I don't know if they're feeling the pressure of that defending that championship, the Spurs kind of owning them, other teams on their tail, catching up to them, or maybe this is just the champion starting to be the villain. You've seen it before. Not sure what's going on there with OKC. They've had a couple of instances, I think, this season, but this was the big one. Obviously, you go after, if not the top player in the world, in the league, then obviously top 2 or 3, as we've talked about before. And again, this isn't the first time that guys have tried Jokic. We all remember, we should remember Markieff Morris, doing a little shoulder, forearm shiver into, Jokic coming down court into it as he's making a pass, and he has extended the forearm in his rib cage, gut, sternum, whatever you want to call it. And then Jokic immediately, goes right back at him and, pushes him from behind, but gave him a nice little shove. So, apparently Lou Dort, Jalen Williams, whoever wants to try, Jokic, they forget that Markieff Morris was damn near paralyzed, for his cheap shot. So again, Jokic don't play, man. He don't play. He's getting that Shaq treatment of getting tested because you're the bigger guy, I guess, the bigger body, the star. He kind of does. He can kind of do what he wants. I mean, you don't really see Jokic get manhandled or anything like that, right? Guys play him tough. They play him physical, which is normal. But I kind of reminded me of Shaq. Got tested a couple of times. Was that Chris Dudley? And I can't remember the Piston where Shaq was with Orlando and Shaq just like tomahawk punched him. And I'm like, dude, like why would you mess with this big guy? But same with Jokic. And I think the league, I think they take him a little bit lightly, right? I think it's more, he's kind of a low-key, ho-hum, I have horses, and I play basketball. And they just say, let me test this dude. I guess. But it's the cheap shots. It's not just like, oh, that's a hard foul. This is like, dude is running up court and you stick your foot out and trip him, which almost was a hip shot / trip. Again, Morris was the, forearm shiver in your rib cage, and as you're extended, not able to protect yourself. So I get his anger at these guys for doing this. Not cool. But I like a little animosity. I like a little rivalry. I like a little, competitiveness here in the league. And as I said, just like the Hornets and Pistons, I was like, give me them in the first round. At some point in the playoffs now, I'm saying, give me the Nuggets and Thunder. Again, they're some of the top teams going to contend. Will this carry over? Would it carry over into the playoffs? The same for the Hornets, Pistons? I don't know. But there's now going to be that history of this. And the playoffs, obviously, that's when, of course, guys play a little harder, gets a little tougher, a little more physicality. So, yeah, give me Nuggets, Thunder. Give it whenever. Probably won't be the first round, but hey, give it to me second round. Give it at some point. Give me that series, and I will be tuned in for sure. And like I said, the cheap shots, the tripping is just something different than physical play. We saw some of that physical play with Detroit again. The other night, they were pushing down Wemby against the Spurs, and they were, just whatever they wanted to do. The refs weren't calling it. And now Wemby is obviously tall and doesn't have the mass of muscle and meat and all that like a Jokic or someone. But obviously he's the future of the league. So you hate to see, kind of a little bit of dirty play. But Detroit's trying to get that bad boy attitude and persona again like the late 80s, early 90s. It's kind of funny to me too, though. You all of a sudden now are a good team, and now you want to say, "Oh yeah, we're bad boys." Well, again, win something and then come talk to me. And they might, but you got to prove it first. You can't just go out and bully people, and you ain't done nothing, because then that's just a whole different story. But again, like I said, Pistons, they had their scuffle with the Hornets out here being physical with Wemby. Some of it is just normal basketball, normal competitive play. But again, get rid of those cheap shots and tripping. And a good bit of fighting, though, really, in the NBA in general lately. I can't remember all of them, but I know after the Hornets-Pistons scuffle, there's been some other ones, guys kind of in each other. It's normally you get in your face, push. Not a lot of punches being thrown. And I know the league wants to keep that to a minimum. But again, it's good to see them care at least what's going on, at least care about the games in the regular season, which, again, maybe they're trying to get more people to watch. Maybe they're trying to get people to come to the games, even though there's tanking, load management, high ticket prices. The affordability for a family to go watch a game is insane. So, that's the other thing is like maybe the players have caught on. Maybe they actually do care. Maybe they're just frustrated with something. I don't know. Like it kind of caught my mind that, maybe they're just trying to help the league out. That, they're showing the fans that, hey, we do care. We are trying in the regular season. And it is a time period. Of course, it is getting close to the playoffs. But again, you want the fans to care. And again, again, this kind of, I guess these are good teams though. So, with the other teams who are, sitting out players or whatnot. I mean, this is a way to get them interested in the league, interested in games, outside of all the other stuff of, teams not playing their players, things like that. But I like it. It's a good thing and hope to keep it up. And speaking of that, another NBA team has outside the box idea to get fans to come watch them. All right, speaking of teams, we said a team that is trying to get fans to come to their game, at least one game, and they've got an outside-the-box idea that I don't think anyone saw coming. I mentioned the NBA with like a family can't come watch a game. If you got a family of 4, I don't know how you afford it, but there's an idea the Atlanta Hawks came up with, and it's, sending little shockwaves through the internet and on media and on TV talking about it. Their promotion for the March 16th game against the Orlando Magic is going to be a promotion for the famous strip club Magic City. That's right, a strip club will be the promotion for an NBA game. It will be Magic City night in Atlanta for a game. Here's what I've read about it. They're calling it an iconic cultural institution. Now, the strip club obviously is a strip club. It's famous for a lot of hip hop and rappers getting their start, handing out mixtapes, a launch pad for these artists. It's a kind of a mesh of, hip hop culture, celebrity clientele at the club, all those things, right? But again, it's going to be a promotion for an NBA game. So it got me thinking again, what are they going to do? What exactly is going to happen that night? And I'm going to have fun with this, and no disrespect to anybody here. So get that disclaimer out there for anybody, cry some tears or can't take a joke. My thoughts were, will they be pumping cigarette smoke or cigarette smell throughout the game? That way we get the whole strip club, feel. Will there be some glitter bombs go off during the game at some point? Maybe in between quarters. Not sure. This is the one that might make some people mad. Will the cheerleaders / dancers be on poles during their performances? I don't know. I mean, where do we stop? You're promoting a strip club. So any idea should be a good idea and shouldn't be offensive for anything. And so these are ideas that I had. I don't know. Is the NBA steering away from family and kids to gain a different type of fan? Are they doing that bad? Is it that bad to, kind of take your attention away from the tanking, take your attention away from the gambling, take your attention away from the Clippers and their scandals, that they would stoop to say, hey, let's have a team do a strip club promotional night? I mean, again, if they are trying to gain a different fan that could afford an NBA game, again, got people who go to strip clubs on a regular or go to strip clubs, they have money to waste. Because ain't nothing like adults wasting money at a strip club thinking, in their mind, if I give more money, then it's, the whole idea. We get it, right? So, yeah, maybe that's the fan the NBA wants. People who have money to waste and they can afford the high ticket prices to watch some of these teams, as like a Jazz, Wizards, who else? Nets, King. Some of these teams are playing, G League players. Maybe. Now, for the Atlanta Hawks, there is a bright side, and there is a reason why I don't really think that they're the team that needs to kind of be being desperate in trying to get people to come to their game or doing some outlandish outside the box promotion, because the team is actually decent. They're young, up and coming. They're right at 500. They had, they're fun to watch now. They have been for a little bit this year. They were early season favorites to improve this year because they had made some moves with the team they already had. They went out, they got Porzingis on a rental, but then injuries to him, Trae Young, it kind of derailed the season. So they're down there at that 9-10 play-in spot right now. But again, to their credit, they flipped them. They said, Porzingis, you're already hurt. Somebody might want you. What can we get for you here at the deadline? Trae Young, even before the deadline, was like, hey, you just don't fit in the new Atlanta Hawk, offense. We got, all these young guys. It's kind of just time to let's go our separate ways. So, of course, they shipped him to Washington. They shipped Porzingis to Golden State. And it's actually, like I said, credit to them. I mean, you get a veteran, so you shed that Trae Young contract where you can go get someone else or make a deal to bring in another contract. So they shed that Trae Young contract for C.J. McCollum, again, expiring deal on a veteran, solid veteran who can score, shoot, knows the game. And then, of course, Porzingis, you ship to Golden State and you get Jonathan Kuminga, who was, he was being held hostage by Golden State. So they did him a favor. They did themselves a favor to add someone who can contribute. Because let's be honest, at the time, Porzingis had barely played for Atlanta, so he'd really done nothing. And since Kuminga has come over, I mean, it took him after the deadline to finally play because he was kind of injured too, amazingly. Who's not injured in the NBA at this point, though? But he's been balling out, scoring over 20-some points a game, just balling, like dunks. But again, he fits well with this young core they have with the Jalen Johnson, the Dyson Daniels, Ricochet, Okongwu, Alexander Walker, and then I mentioned the veterans that they have. So, just a good deal for Atlanta. I love the deal. It gives new life for Kuminga. He looks like I said, just like a refreshed, new energy, and just so glad that he's out of Golden State. You could see it in Golden State, but, Steve Kerr I don't know that he ever really tried to make Kuminga fit. We saw it like last year, like they went out and got Butler, and then Kuminga was just kind of the odd man out of the rotation. And you're like, we've seen this guy play. Like, we know he's got talent. We know he can contribute. How does Steve Kerr not make him work in this Golden State Warriors team? He's an asset. And, and then like this year, they give him the contract just to keep him, even though, truthfully, the rest of the NBA, he was restricted. So all these things were going on. They ended up keeping him. Pretty good deal, right? I mean, I think it was like a 3-year deal, something like that. But the Hawks so far, I mean, they brought him in. They've made it work in the games that he's played. Is very little sample size, but so far there's energy and life for the Atlanta Hawks. So again, why they're doing, again, a strip club night for Magic City, and I get it. I know the history of it, and I know it's a popular place, but it's just kind of really, really weird that the NBA, I guess, would allow it. But again, look at other things they are allowing. Is there ever going to be anything done about the Clippers? Gambling is such a gray area. But again, Atlanta is right there. They're in that play-in, trying to compete. And again, apparently with their young up-and-coming team, they're also promoting strip clubs. But down there battling them, though, is a team I talk about a lot, that hometown team, those Charlotte Hornets. Yeah, so the Charlotte Hornets, again, the hometown team, I mentioned them in a previous episode. They are the talk of the league. They are the talk of the media on TV, everything, because they're playing so well, especially after they started so rough, dealing with a lot of injuries right out the gate, and then more injuries happened later. They've made a few moves. But again, the team's playing so well. So outside of the streak and everything else they've been doing, they've been draining threes at a record rate. And what I was saying like earlier, if Steph and Clay were the Splash Brothers, then these guys are the splash triplets. And those guys are Brandon Miller, LaMelo Ball, and Kon Knueppel. In 2026 so far, they're the top 3 shooters in the league since January 1st, 2026. They have the most 3-pointers made in the league. They're 1, 2, and 3 on that list. At the moment of this recording, LaMelo Ball's made 101, Brandon Miller 96, Kon Knueppel 94. Not to mention that Kon Knueppel is also made 211 for the season so far, which broke the rookie record, which was 206 by Keegan Murray of Sacramento his rookie year. So the season's not even over, right? They got about 20 some games left, 20, 22, 23, something like that. And he's still going to grow that record from that 211. Also with his team again, Miles Bridges recently saying that, he's taken a back seat so these guys can flourish. He understands his role. Like, he could go off any night for 30 if he really wanted to. But, I mean, they have so much now, young talent, the core, that now Bridges is the veteran on this team, right? He's been there for a while, like 6-7 years. And so he is, being that veteran to take the back seat, do whatever's needed because he understands what the team's doing, what they're building, how they've been playing. He doesn't want to mess that up. And, again, he's being a team player. And Kobe White, he's coming off the bench. He's been a spark since he started playing, which, again, I was wondering how that would be because, Colin Sexton was doing pretty good. So, again, Kobe White so far finding his role on this team, being that sixth man. And I think that's going to work out really, really well for them because, again, I just named Bridges, Ball, Miller, Knueppel. And, again, you bring in White off the bench. I mean, that's just another guy who can put up buckets and make threes. But, again, to see 3 guys on the team shooting 3-pointers at that rate, it's not too surprising, but it's a little surprising. I get it. The game has changed. There's a lot of 3-pointers now. That is the game, right? Shoot the 3 no matter what. You just chuck it, and chuck it. And not all of them are good shots. Like that you see in all basketball and in the NBA and LaMelo Ball, let's be honest. He takes step back 1-foot threes and he makes them. He also misses. I think there's a time and a place for all that, but that is the game we live. That's the world we live in now in the NBA. So I'm not mad at it, but they do really good job of working the ball, finding the open guy to get open threes, right? Not all threes are bad. So, and again, if you're shooting and you're hitting, then no big deal. But all that to say is it is benefiting the Hornets. They are just, again, right there with the Hawks, we mentioned. They're not doing, Magic City night. I don't know that Charlotte would ever do that, but there maybe have been times they were desperate to do it when they were struggling to get fans. But right now they're selling out. Forgot how many now in a row out of the last so many games. Of course, some people are bandwagon fans. Like I said, I don't go to as many games because I can't afford it. They're just too damn expensive. But, I'm going to try to get back, to a game. I've already been this year, but I would like to go to one now while they are, really, really hot and just trying to find one on the right day to fit my schedule and to be, that I can afford to go to. They charge you an arm and leg and parking and all that. And that's just me being a grumpy adult. Let's see. But yeah, one game right now below 500. They might actually make the actual playoffs possibility, not just the play-in. I like them against Orlando, Miami, Atlanta, whoever they got to play, even if Philly drops, even though that's been there. As I say, kryptonite. That's been the team that they've had trouble beating forever. Even though they blew them out this year with no Embiid, but again, I put them up against anybody right now. They've played really well against a lot of teams, a lot of top teams, not just any team, and that's what I like to look at. And so first time in about 10 years, something like that they have made the playoffs. So this would be big for the city. I think it's happening a little faster than most expected. I go back, I think they're 30-31 right now. If you go back, listen to early episodes with Log Off and I did pick them to win about 37, 38 games, I believe. And I said that would be a win. They may actually finish above 500, which would be, again, more than anything we could have thought of. So can't wait for that. See if that happens. But they're balling. Well, I think that's it. Yeah. So that's another episode of Fanatically Speaking. You can listen to the show on any podcast outlet. It's everywhere. You can even listen on YouTube. Also on social media. We're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Check it out. Like, follow, share, all that fun stuff you do on social to keep up with what episodes are coming out. Whatever device you listen to, I don't care what it's on. I'm sure there is an app for it. So, yeah, tap that app, listen to the show. And as for this episode, I am out.